Hi guys! So in today's video we are going to be doing something a little different. I know you mostly know me for my comic art, but in today's video we're going to try to do a little painting, something slightly different from what I always do. I tend to do paintings just to relax or learn how to color and try to understand how light works, and for today's video we are going to try to study mostly from WLOP or WLOP. Sorry, I don't know how to say his name, but you know the artist. I'm going to show you in a moment the references I'm using and the references I did that I'm going to be using for the light and how the composition is going to look, possibly. I don't know if I'm going to change a few things, but yeah. So I already gathered my references here. I'm going to be using these illustrations and also going to be using this 3D reference I did. I'm going to be doing a really simple composition just to try to get the light right. For this I'm using Dust 3D. We are going to be trying to use 3 light sources. One is the backlight, the one that is literally on the back, and the light that is going to be on the front is going to be the field light, and we are going to put another key light but mostly to the side of the character. Since I want this composition to be a little bit darker or melancholic, I'm going to put most of the face in shadow. The key light is going to be only giving a little hint of the volume of the face, and the backlight is going to work as a rim light. Okay, so I already have this little layout done. I actually did this before doing the reference on the 3D program on Dust 3D, just so I didn't waste too much time onto how I wanted the composition to be. Okay, so I have this right now, and we are going to start by first cleaning a few things here, basically mostly the proportions and the facial expression and everything else, just so I can have a clear idea of the line work and the base that I'm going to work on. I'm going to put this on the blue line and reduce the opacity so it doesn't bother too much, and we are going to start with the overall sketch. I think it's always good to have some sort of reference for when you're drawing hands. This is a really complicated part to draw, and having your references can really save you a ton of time when you're trying to solve the pose of the hand. I always struggle a lot with this, since there are many ways to actually pose the hands, and there are many ways to articulate this. Probably I'm going to exaggerate a little bit more, just a tiny bit, this finger, just so it's a bit, well, it's still a bit boring, but let's try by moving this a little bit more to the sides, making it a little bit much more expressive. I don't really have a planned design for this character, and basically I'm just trying to design a character from scratch right now, just for the sake of the illustration. I'm going to finish the silhouette here just to see if the proportions are working. I'm going to fix this little part on the neck and the shoulders just to make it look a bit much more relaxed. think the silhouette here it's okay. I'm going to hide now the layout sketch and work on the face. Something I like to try to work on first is most of the time the silhouette, so I can see if everything works and the proportions are actually right. And right after that is when I try to add the details inside of it. Now for the head, since I want this character looking a little bit down, I'm going to place first the ears so it gives me an idea of the angle of the head. And generally I don't do this, but since it's going to be shoot from the front, I want the face to look right and symmetrical, so I'm going to make sure by doing these guidelines here. To try to see if I can add something to the background just to make it look much interesting. It feels too clean, too empty. Maybe something like this, a little portrait or picture here like falling off, and maybe a practical light here like a lamp. Now we're going to start with the color flats here. I'm going to first try to add the colors around just to separate everything first. Now something I notice in most of the illustrations from WLOP, he uses really desaturated colors, so we're going to try to aim for something similar, and most of them are really grayish, so let's try to see if we can pick a similar color for the skin. Maybe here. let's try going for a red eye, for red eyes. Like that. And I do want to go for a dark color for the hair, maybe still a little bit reddish. So the reason why I didn't kind of define everything on the line work is because I wanted to experiment a lot on the painting side. So I'm going to mostly start adding most of the clothes or armor or any jewelry around later on. Right now I'm just flatting kind of the important parts and mostly the easy parts for me. And now I'm just going to add a part of the clothes right now, or let's see. I think I'm going for dark clothes. I want this to be something similar to the vibe of the illustrations from WLOP, so I'm going to maybe do similar dresses. Now I'm going to add the shadows with a multiply layer. First, we are going to pick the entire color scheme for the entire piece. Since it's going to be grayish, I don't want to go for a too saturated color, so I'm going to probably go around here, 3% of saturation and maybe 50% of what is this, light? I don't know. Of illumination here. And now I'm going to add another layer for the shadows of the character. I'm going to do this really fast, so I'm going to be erasing to carve the light. So I have most of the light done here, of the key light. Even though the rim light is going to be the hardest, like the most intense light right now here in this illustration, I don't want to add it right now. I prefer to add it later on. Most of the time I would just add only the key light first and then the rim light here, which we are going to work on in a moment. First I want to blend. Where is this tool? Now I'm going to blend some of these parts. There we go. We have this. Now that we have the light, I'm going to try to start painting over. Maybe I'm going to apply something to the layer of the sketch. And now I'm going to try to combine all the layers here, and I'm going to start painting on top. I'm going to try to add a little bit of the fill light by actually darkening some parts. So what I'm trying to do right now is just to add some base shadows, something really fast around, just to get the light done fast, and then I will later try to render a few things. Okay, I think this is enough. Now I'm selecting these two layers and I'm going to combine it. Now that I have this, I'm going to start adding the rim light here. I want it to be of the color of the lamp, so I'm going to be using a warm color. And we do the same as before. And we add this color layer here. And now we paint only with black and white. I think this is good enough. I'm going to combine everything now. Now that we have the light of the character, I'm going to start adding more light into the background. Not much, but just a little bit. Now I'm going to start rendering everything else right now. I'm going to start cleaning most of this stuff and make it look much more, well, if possible, painterly, and maybe start adding jewelry around just to make it look a bit much more similar to the illustrations from WLOP. why I'm taking so long to render right now the face is because I want, since this is the main focal point, I want this to look really accurate as possible. So I'm trying to make the face look right. Now I'm going to start adding a little bit of the light reflection. I'm going to pick the color here and add just a little bit of white here, not much, maybe like that. I don't know if that's too much, but let's see. And now I'm going to reduce the saturation. I have to be really careful with the amount of highlight I use. I don't want it to look way too shiny most of the face or look weird. So it has to be like really soft details. Now I think we have the face done. Now we are going to start adding some texture to the hair and separate some of the strands. For that I'm going to use a textured brush, in this case a dry brush, and I'm going to start painting on top of this, maybe on a different layer, just so I don't mess up anything here. Now that I have the hair and the face almost done, I think I'm going to start rendering a bit more, detailing a bit more the hand, since this is the second focal point. And then we are probably going to start detailing more of the clothes and detailing, adding more ornaments or jewelry. I think this ended up looking a little bit different from what I was expecting in my head. I tried to end up doing something like my own piece while studying how WLOP does his illustrations, and mostly I just try to capture just a few things, like how he does the ornaments or the jewelry and how he paints, for example, the hair or the light. I was not trying to copy mostly his anatomy or his style into the faces. I was trying to understand mostly how he paints, and I think I still ended up doing something completely different from the references. The illustrations from WLOP mostly uses sunlight, and here what I did was mostly using artificial light, for example like the lamp for the rim light, and most of the color scheme or color theme of the entire illustration is mostly like bluish. I think even though this looks completely different from what I was expecting and from what I was studying, I think this still ended up looking well from what I was expecting. And yeah, I don't know, I have to experiment a lot in this illustration, mostly like the hand. I didn't know what to do with the hand. I was thinking on doing it like a really bloody scene, but in the end I kinda regret it. I changed it to like some sort of, I don't know, like magic hand with that absorbs some sort of black energy or something like that. I don't really know. I was just trying to experiment with the composition. The only thing that I knew I wanted to tell in this composition is that she did something really bad or something wrong, maybe kill somebody, or she ended up in a fight or something like that. That's why I was thinking first on doing a really bloody scene. But anyway, I think this is the end of the video. I really hope you enjoyed how this ended up looking. I still hope you enjoyed the final piece like I did, and yeah, I just hope this video was useful. Thank you so much for watching, and I hope to see you on another video. Bye.